ओ ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रय विनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं। परमानन्दमाधवं। परमानन्दमाधवम्। ॐ वाङ्मे मनसि प्रतिष्ठिता मनो मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् आविराविर्म एधि वेदस्य म आणिस्थः श्रुतं मे मा प्रहासीः अनेनाधीतेन अहोरात्रान् सन्दधामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्माम् अवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारमवतु वक्तारम्। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यं निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यत्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयम् तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः। इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा जिह्वे पिबस्वामृतमेतदेव गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति। हे कृष्ण हे यादव हे सखेति। हे कृष्ण हे यादव हे सखेति। हे कृष्ण हे यादव हे सखेति। नारायण नारायण नारायण। First of all, I wish all the listeners of Srimad Bhagavad Gita podcast a very, very happy Sharad Navratras. Today being in Navami of the Navratras, we will first start this session with a small prayer unto Mother Durga, lotus feet of Mother Durga, Ma Amba Bhavani. It is a small Vandana. Then we'll do small Saraswati Vandana and then we'll get into the session today. First, माँ अम्बा भवानी माँ दुर्गा वंदना। ओम सर्वमंगल मांगल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थ साधिके शरण्ये त्र्यंबके गौरी नारायणि नमोस्तुते। सृष्टि स्थिति विनाशानां शक्तिभूते सनातनी गुणाश्रये गुणमये नारायणि नमोस्तुते। ब्रह्म रूप सदानंदे परमानंद स्वरूपिणी दुत्त सिद्धिपदे देवी नारायणि नमोस्तुते। शरणागत दीनार्थ परित्राण परायणे सर्वस्यार्ति हरे देवी नारायणि नमोस्तुते। नारायणि नमोस्तुते। नारायणि नमोस्तुते। And the beej mantra of Ma Durga, Ma Devi. Om Aim Hrim Klim Chamundaye Viche. Om Aim Hrim Klim Chamundaye Viche. Om Aim Hrim Klim Chamundaye Viche. Now we'll do a small vandana of Ma Saraswati, Mother Saraswati, the goddess of entire field of education and the goddess of knowledge and wisdom. We'll offer a small vandana unto her and then we'll get into the verse where we left in the last session. या कुन्देन्दुतुषारहारधवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्करप्रभृतिभिर्देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निशेषजाड्यापहा। सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निशेषजाड्यापहा। Now, verse number 8 of chapter 3, where we left in the last session. We'll read the verse first. I'll read the Bhashya of Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji on the verse number 8 after that, and then we'll continue from where we left in the last session. Verse number 8. नियतं कुरु कर्म त्वं कर्मज्यायो ह्यकर्मणः शरीरयात्रापि च ते न प्रसिद्ध्येद कर्मणः। नियतं कुरु कर्म त्वं कर्मज्यायो ह्यकर्मणः शरीरयात्रापि च ते न प्रसिद्ध्येद कर्मणः। Bhagwan Shankaracharyaji's Bhashya on the same. Niyatam nityam yo yasmin karmani adhikritah falaya cha ashrutam tad niyatam karma tat kuru tvam he Arjuna yatah karma jayah adhikataram falato hi yasmat akarmanah akaranad anarambhat कथम शरीर यात्रा शरीर स्थिति ही अपि चते तव न प्रसिद्धेत प्रसिद्धिम न गच्छेद अकर्मणः अकरणात् अतः दृष्टः कर्मणा कर्मणोः विशेषो लोके। सुप्रीम कॉन्शियसनेस भगवान कृष्ण answering Arjun's question Tad ekam vada nischitya, which Arjun's question was, Bhagwan, amongst all that path you spoke about and elaborately explaining, you tell me the one thing you want me to do. Just tell me the one thing you want me to do. I understand the whole ambit of knowledge which you have given me, but tell me that one single action you want me to do, because I am a little bit confused whether I should follow the path of renunciation or should I follow the path of karma, which is standing right in front of me. Karma has been presented on a platter to me in front of me, that I have to fight my own relatives. I may have to end up killing them or getting killed by them. So whatever it is, Bhagwan, all said and done, tell me the one single action you want me to do. Answering that question, Bhagwan is answering that question of Arjun in verse number 8 here. In one single line, Bhagwan said, Niyatam karma kuru. Tvam niyatam karma kuru. Arjun, you do your respected duties which have come to you according to your own ashram and according to your construct. That is what we saw in the last session. And Bhagwan said what? In the literal meaning of this particular verse, karma jayaha hi akarmanaha. As compared to inaction, akarmanaha, karma, doing an action is far, far better, far or higher result giving. Adhikataram. Bhagwan is going to explain in Bhagwan Shankaracharya is going to say Adhikataram Falatah. He is going to say that doing action, you will definitely get the fruit of action, and as compared to inaction, definitely action is far greater. Jayaha is far better, far greater. Sharira yatra pichate na prasiddhyed akarmanah. In this journey of life, Sharira yatra, in this journey of this life, when we say Sharir yatra, Sharir means body. In this journey of this body, which means in the journey of this life, that is how you need to understand. Chate, if you see the journey of this life, na prasiddhyed akarmanah. Definitely, inaction is not something which is advisable. It is not something which is commonly seen. It is not, forget about being popular, na prasiddhyet. You will see majority in this creation, you will see that inaction is not something which is advisable, which is not something we should fall back upon, which is not something which is looked up on with respect. So all that examples you can take up for this word na prasiddhyet. Continuing from where we left in the last session, that was the literal meaning which I just spoke. Now, what is Supreme Consciousness Bhagwan Krishna wanting to say from all these verses, is starting from the third verse up to verse number 8. Okay, because Bhagwan is culminating his teaching on the Arjun's question here. Now the rest of the things Bhagwan is going to take up, elaborately explaining the different paths of doing action. Till now Bhagwan is explaining what is action and how one should do an action. Now then Bhagwan will give us a detailed explanation of with what kind of an attitude we should do action, which becomes a karma yoga. So that we'll see from verse 9 onwards. So what is Bhagwan and wanting to through these verses, Supreme Consciousness Bhagwan Krishna is presenting in front of us, is putting forward in front of us one basic principle which is universally applicable. What is that? In this world, you will not see anyone who is present in this world or physically present in this world who can live without doing an action even for a moment. Okay, now I told you how to do action is at different levels. Somebody is doing physical action, somebody is doing mental action, somebody is doing action with words. There are many actions which I've already explained in the explanation up till 3.7 already. So Bhagwan is saying there is no one in this world who can live without an action. Now let's keep this in mind. What is Bhagwan wanting to bring to the focus? We must keep our mind attentive to what Bhagwan is saying. This statement is true for the entire world of Jiva. Jiva means who have come and taken up a birth as a Jiva. Okay, now when I say Jiva, now I'll step back a little bit and explain you the different facets of a Jiva. Now, if we peel down into Jiva, now remember when I say Jiva, Jiv Jagat or this world of Jiva is the entire, all the beings starting from Brahmaji up to Stamba Paryantam. That's how Upanishad explains. In Taittiriya Upanishad it comes, the entire gamut of Jiva is starting from Brahmaji, who is the creator, up to Stamba Paryantam, up to the stump of a tree. Okay, till that, it's an entire gamut and world of Jivas. So now, when I say jiva, we need to peel down the jiva into two different and levels of understanding. Or I would say, let me just get you into the core also, the physical aspect of jiva and the core aspect of jiva. Let me just say this way. So I'm peeling down into two portions. Now, when we say jiva here, and when Bhagwan is saying that not even for a moment a jiva can stay in the life without doing an action, who is this jiva Bhagwan is talking about? This is a question which comes to when I say jiva, you can translate it in English as being. Now, being is human being, animal is also a being, plant is also a being. So, whenever I say the word jiva, you say being. That person who has come into existence in some form. That way, you should see. Now, existence also is at a different level, also, but I'm just coming to explain you that. There are two aspects of jiva now. Now, which jiva Bhagwan is talking about here, who cannot live without doing an action for not even a moment? That jiva who is physically present in the world with the conditioning of nature. Upadhi we call it for conditioning. Who is who is present in this is creation with the conditioning of nature. What is the conditioning of nature? Now, when I say conditioning of nature, I told you in the up till the podcast episodes till now, I explained you quite elaborately, but I'm just touching you to just recall your memory there. When I say conditioning of nature, refer to the BMI chart. Okay. Now, the BMI, all of these are conditioned with the aspects of nature. That's why they are part of nature. Now, and on top of it, which continuously keeps on gathering conditions, how I'm going to be born, that is going to be vasana. So we can take from vasana up to downwards as part of conditionings of nature. Okay. Now, what is above the conditioning of nature is our core self, that is Om there, or in the BMI chart, that is our supreme consciousness, our own core self, which we call it Atman. In English, you may call it soul. Now, why I don't use the word soul so much for our discussion? Because soul as a word is used in many, many philosophies, many, many religions in a very different connotation. The definition of soul is very different. Understanding of soul is very different for different religions and different philosophies. That is why I don't popularly use the word soul, because Atman also can represent as soul, but the meaning of Atman is different than the soul which is defined in other religions and other philosophies. So that is the reason I don't use soul. But for your own translation, when I say Atman or I say self, you can and denote it with a term called soul, but in its correct understanding, which is as per Sanatana Dharma. So now what I mean to say is, so the conditioning is from vasana. Actual conditioning of equipment will be B, M, and I, or I can say in the correct order from higher to lower: intellect, mind, and body. They are all part of the conditionings of the nature. They are all the conditioned self. I'll use this way. Okay. So now the other thing we need to think about is Om, which is on the top, which is my core self, which is my Atman, which is my soul, so to say. That is nothing but Vishuddha Chetan. That is the, I would say, what extremely pure, Vishuddha, Visheshana Shuddha. That is like, what you call that in the gold way, 0.999 in kind of purity or something you say, no? So that is the ultimate pure self. Remember, through these conditionings also, self doesn't get impure at all. Anyway, that is a different explanation. We need to step into different level of understanding to understand what I'm saying there. But I will say one thing: in the actual core form, the supreme self or the self in all of us is the purest consciousness which is available. And that pure form of consciousness, by its nature, is actually nirvikar, does not have got any modifications at all. It is nishkriya, is completely devoid of any action, is chin matra, is of the form of consciousness itself. So that is why we say no, it's existence, consciousness, bliss, Sat, Chit, and Anand. That I'm talking about Atman, which is within all of us. And in that pure consciousness, no kind of modification is possible at all. See, mark my words, huh? No kind of modification is possible in the core self which is within us. Okay, that's why I said what I'm telling you now, it may take some time to understand, but please remember, this is loud and clear the truth declared by Sanatan Dharma. Very clear. The core self is devoid of any kind of modification. No kind of modification, no kind of impurity can ever touch that consciousness. That is why all the time it is remains Vishuddha Sattva, Vishuddha Chetan, is purest of pure or consciousness, which is available as core self. Now, the moment this self, which is actually of the form of pure consciousness, takes upon itself or wears, like we wear clothes, no, takes upon itself or wears this conditioning of nature. What is the conditioning of nature? Means what? Gets identified with this equipment called intellect, mind, and body. The moment it identifies, because of that identification, that starts to consider itself as the intellect, mind, and body. That is what is happening today with all of us. Okay, because it has taken over or won the conditioning of the nature or taken over itself the conditioning of nature, that is why this kind of a situation has arisen in front of this particular and become a jiva. Till that time was supreme consciousness. The moment the condition is taken, it becomes a jiva, because it has start to come into a physical form and existence in this particular grossified, objectified world. This is why how I'll use this. So remember, all the things, of course, body is grossest among the BMI. Intellect and mind are subtle as compared to body, but technically they are gross also in terms of the existence here, because that's an identification available there. At that level, we are all different from each other. That is what differs each one of us from each, all of us. It differs each one of us from each one of us. So actually, that's how I would use this word. So because of this is wearing on or taking on the form, that consciousness, that self, that soul, that Atman, which by its core form is free of any kind of modification and completely free of any kind of action, for that soul itself, that Atman itself, is what is being told here, that not even for one moment this conditioned self can live without doing an action, not even for a moment. So when we talk about here, we are talking about Prakritistha Purush. Prakritistha Purush means that self which is firmly placed in Prakriti, which is firmly, what do you call that, firmly identified with nature, firmly present in this, on the gross presence in this particular nature. Because and so what he's saying, that supreme pure consciousness which has taken over the conditioning of the nature and identified itself with that conditioning, Bhagwan is talking about that jiva here, and that is what is coined as jiva here. As a supreme consciousness at its core is completely free of action, vis-a-vis that, or on the contrary to that, Prakriti or the nature, by its core itself, it is of the form of action. It's always active. Prakriti is always active. You will see here, just see the nature outside. It is constantly changing, constantly changing. Day in and day out, it's changing. What we saw yesterday, it may not be the same the next day. It's constantly changing. Constant change is the nature of the core principle and core nature of this prakriti. Prakriti means nature. When I say core nature, and that's the reason I use core, principle. The core form of this nature is that it's constantly changing. That's a Puji Gurudev used to say it very beautifully. In Sanskrit, we use the word samsara, samyak sarati. Samyak sarati means it's constantly changing. Which is that which is constantly changing is denoted by the word called samsara. Samyak sarati iti samsara. It's always constantly moving, constantly changing. So, being in action or activity is the core form of this nature. Nature means activity. That is why the only time when we are so called inactive in this physical body is deep sleep, right? Our physical form takes a rest, and that's why we call it what? Rest. Now just compare that at somebody who expires also, we say that may he rest in peace. Rest in peace means that we consider that as a longer rest than deep sleep for that particular person. Anyway, that's from philosophy to philosophy, the understanding is different, but I'm just trying to explain you a point here. So the core form and principle of this nature is that it's constantly changing. It is and it is always what? But modifications are the core nature of constantly changing means what? Constantly modifying, right? So vikara or modification is the core form of core nature of this entire thing called prakriti. Now, every moment, and it is changing into a different result. Every moment it's changing. Just see when rain and all these things come, how many changes happen around you. Some new sprout may have come up, some grass grow. Sometimes there is landslide, sometimes there is flood. Constant change is part of this nature, and that is what, but because it's constantly changing, that is one of the core form of this thing called prakriti. Now, since at the principle of this nature is what, at the core of this nature is what? Constant change. That is why a purusha, a self, or a atman, the moment it takes upon itself the conditioning of this nature, that nature of the core principle of this nature automatically starts becoming applicable for this conditioned soul. Okay, and it is natural because the form you acquire, you will definitely adapt or take over the properties of that form. That is the core. The moment somebody gets into an animal body, the properties of animal starts becoming applicable to that jiva. The same way, the moment somebody takes up human body, the properties of properties and law of the human starts becoming applicable for that human being. So this nature at its core cannot live without action, not even for a second, kshanamapi, not even for a moment. In the same way, this conditioned soul's objectified situation has reached at this level that this conditioned soul also, like the nature by which it is conditioned, it cannot live without action for a moment. That is what Bhagwan was trying to say, in these verses up to 7, verse number 3.7. Now, keeping this objectified state, objectified situation in mind, Bhagwan explains, Supreme Consciousness, Bhagwan Krishna explains about two kinds of people. Okay? Even though I've explained the two kinds, I'm trying to bring you here so that you understand the context, correct context. The first kind of person, the first category of person is what? That one who is exercising control on his organs of action, and remember, is trying to control that which by nature is supposed to remain active all the time. So Man, remember one thing, that by the core of which is supposed to remain active all the time, this person is exercising control on it, which is not supposed to be done. Huh? So, because the control is exercised there and the organs of actions are blocked from doing or performing actions, the action full state transfers onto this person's mind. And this person is doing what? Control, exercising full control over the organs of action means what? Making them remain idle, remain at an idle state, remain inactive. Now the action has to go somewhere because that is a part of the nature. So this person is constantly thinking with his mind about the objects, constantly thinking over them. The second category of person which Bhagwan explained and was the second kind of person who's exercising control. The second category of person which Bhagwan says is the one of the best person according to Supreme Consciousness Bhagwan Krishna is the one who is exercising control over the organs of knowledge using his mind. Through his mind, this person is exercising control over the organs of knowledge and using, even though there is a control exercised over the organs of knowledge, at the same time this person is constantly using his organs of action to perform karma yoga. And Bhagwan says, because this person is doing that, that is why I will call him a special category of a person. He is really stands apart in the crowd, so to say. Now, for people like us who is watching all these things from outside, we may feel that both of them are exercising control because the aspect is control, right? One is exercising control on the organs of action, another one is exercising control on the organs of knowledge. The person who is looking at the person from outside may feel that both the category of people are actually controlling and exercising control over their organs, whether organs of knowledge or action, I'm talking about not right now. But for a person who is actually looking at the these people, the first category of person who's exercising control over the organs of action, when we look at that person, we will feel, wow, what a control man, because we don't know the truth, that's why we may feel what a control. And for us it may seem that this person is sitting like a renunciate. Now that is also another thing. Now I'll tell you one thing very honestly. In Sanatan Dharma, we do not have too much respect for Swayambhu kind of sannyasis, by the way, because unless and until somebody comes through a Diksha marg and through a proper or Vedic marg, and just acquires clothes on its own and declares himself as a sannyasi or something, there is not much respect for such a person in Sanatan Dharma at all. We may see them as escapists, or we may see them as those who are trying to cover up their ill deeds. So anyway, so this person may seem externally to exercise control over them. So we may see that this person is sitting like a renunciate. And in the second person who is exercising control over the organs of knowledge and doing action using his organs of action, doing karma yoga, for people like us who watch such people externally, it may seem that this person is an active person, not a renunciate, because we don't have the clear understanding of that. And it is quite possible we will feel that this person seems to be in the path of action and the other person seem to be in the path of renunciation. That is a mistake of understanding of us, which we end up reaching sometime. For a person watching from outside, the first category of person and maybe seeming to be actually exercising control and moving towards renunciation, but literally, in literal sense, actually, in reality, actually, that person is actually not a renunciate at all. And vis-a-vis that, the second person, and when we look from outside, we may see that person is completely active, more active than anyone else, so to say. And the kind of exercise of control we may not be able to see in that person at all. But supreme consciousness, Bhagavan Krishna says, in real sense, this second category of person is the one who's actually exercising control correctly, and he is the one you can say that is really in reality exercising control, not the first category of person at all. So the one who seems to be exercising control, it is possible that that person is actually not exercising any control, is not a controlled kind of, he's not one who's exercising any control on himself at all, or may not be the one who's actually exercising the control correctly. Whereas the one who seems to be active all the time, it is quite possible that that person is exercising the control correctly, and that person only can be called as the one exercising control over his senses. Supreme Consciousness Bhagavan Krishna says, Yastu Indriyani Manasa Niyamya. The one, and what? The one who has actually exercised control over the organs of knowledge using his or her mind, and along with that, not only just exercising control over the organs of knowledge and staying there, you know, along with that, using his organs of action, and he has already started to do karma yoga. Means what? And what? Through that exercise, this person is constantly purifying his food means his intake with the organs of knowledge, and because of that, this person is slowly, gradually in the process of cultivating and developing culture within his inner equipments. Okay, this person is actually growing in spiritual culture within himself, and that spiritual culture will become a firewall for this person, that how much amount of impurity is there outside, right, at that level of in the level of world where he contacts, but this person is not going to be touched by the impurity, and will always stay focused towards the purer things in this creation. And through this exercise, this person is also going to develop a habit and culture of constantly working in making himself more and more cultured. And through that, this person is going to establish himself in the process of exercising control over his senses, his or her senses correctly. In such a person's internal life, a well cultured personality starts to develop. That is the biggest advantage of this kind of way of working. And as and when the culture starts to increase in the mind, as and when our mind starts to develop up or get into the habit of culture, develops culture in itself, so as long as a mind is able to do that, so long as this person is able to also develop on exercising control over his organs of action, organs of knowledge, sorry, organs of knowledge. And we can see both these things as mutually interchangeable that way. One is, as and when the culture increases in the mind, so long this person is also able to increase the amount of control this person is able to exercise over the organs of knowledge. And as a person is able to increase the control over the organs of knowledge, so much this person is also able to develop up a cultured mind within himself. That's why it is called as anyonya sahayak. We call it in Sanskrit like that. Anyonya sahayak means they are actually mutually helpful to each other. So you can say this way: a cultured mind will help us exercise more control over our organs of knowledge, and carve out that control in a good manner to help us. On the contrary, on vis-a-vis that, or as like that only, a, a more kind of a controlled organs of knowledge will help us develop a more cultured mind for or all of us. That's why it is called anyonya sahaya. Now, the control over the organs of knowledge, which actually is a helpful cause for increasing the culture of mind, and the cultured mind and is actually helpful for exercising in better control over the organs of knowledge. Indriyani manasa niyamya, the meaning of that actually, I also touched upon that in the last session. The actual meaning of that is actually ahara shuddhi, means purifying your intake. What you take within you, it should be pure. You cannot think that you will consume impure things and will cultivate purity within you. It's not going to happen at all. So your exercise of control has to happen from what you intake within your system. If the food is pure, it will only give purity within you. It will also help you gain more purity in your inner equipments also. But if the food is impure, you cannot think that you will be able to maintain yourself as pure within yourself. That's why indriyani manasa niyamya, the actual meaning will be that ahara shuddhi. In Chandogya Upanishad, it is said, ahara shuddhau sattva shuddhi. Ahara shuddhau sattva shuddhi. you know if you are able to exercise this thing, if you are able to what you call that, set yourself in a correct way to choose only pure food you intake within yourself with all your organs of knowledge, then remember, it will help you develop sattva shuddhi. Here sattva means actually antakarana shuddhi. So, sattva, the meaning here in Chandogya Upanishad, it means actually antakaran. So, if your intake is pure, it will help you maintain purity of your or inner equipment. And with the purity of food you intake or whatever you consume or whatever you intake, you are able to develop up in such a way that your inner equipment starts to become purer and purer, purer and purer, purer and purer. That is what you need to understand. But remember, I'm not only talking about the food we eat. I'm talking about the whatever we intake using our five organs of knowledge. I'm talking about that here. Okay, food we eat is also important, by the way. Don't think that I'm only talking about the other four senses. I'm not talking about food. Yes, purity of food is also important. Purity of what we intake with the other senses is also very important. So we have to take, whenever the ahar word is used in our Sanatan Dharma, consider it as food. And that is what I said in the second chapter also. Oh, when Bhagwan was talking about vrata, there also I spoke about that particular thing, that when we talk about food, you have to understand it in a holistic perspective of what Sanatan Dharma is talking about as food. So whatever we intake with any of these five organs of knowledge, all of them is categorized as food only. You have to understand that, and that all of them are considered as food only. Where did we speak about that in the second chapter? In the second chapter, verse number 59, we spoke about that. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinah rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. There I spoke about that when we say nirahar, and when I was explaining the word nirahar over there, I spoke about that. Ahar you should take as all that is taken into our system using the five organs of knowledge. And the best example I gave there was of Ma Amba Bhavani, where when she became Parvati to gain Bhagwan Shiva, it is said that she reached a stage of her tapas that she left away dry leaves also. That is why one of the name of Mother Amba Bhavani came was Aparna, that one who has left even eating the leaves also, dry leaves also, So that's why one of her name is actually Aparna. So we're coming to that point. So Bhagwan was saying here, Ahara Shuddhau Sattva Shuddhi. That is what Chandogya Upanishad speaks about in terms of what we intake. The seeker, or who focuses on this fact which Supreme Consciousness Bhagwan has said here, or that exercise control using your mind on the organs of knowledge, and what you want at an exercising control over the organs of knowledge, what should be done with the organs of action. We have 10 organs. We can't think that I'll only keep on exercising control over the organs of knowledge and I'll let the organs of action be free completely. No, that is not what is said. Exercising control over the organs of knowledge, then at the same time, while doing that, this person should do what? Or ensure that using the organs of action, and or I would say exercising control over the organs of knowledge, and not ensuring that the organs of action are also on control, in complete control of being inactive. No, that's not what is meant here. Rather than exercising control over them, he will use or employ the organs of action to do what? Karmendriyaihi karma yogam arabhate. And he will, using the organs of action, set out the journey to do action using karma yoga attitude. Do actions with the aspect of karma yoga in it. Do actions having karma yoga in it. So you will start doing karma yoga using the organs of action. And once this person starts doing that, in a very small period of time, very soon, this person will become special in this creation. Vishishta. He'll become Vishishta means he'll become special. Sa Vishishyate. This person is going to become special in this creation. And in the personality of such a person, there will be a spiritual beauty which will start to emanate. We'll all be able to see this beautiful whole personality, the spiritual aura which starts to emanate from this particular person. That is why Bhagwan used the word Savishishyate. This person is going to become special. And both within and without, both inside and outside, his situation, his or her status, his or her state will be such that it will always be far better than how this person was before. Both in and out. It's not that inside is beautiful and outside is doing criminal activity. That's not what is meant here. So the beauty when there is inside, let me tell you upfront one thing honestly about this, since I'm on this particular topic. When you see the expression of people, you must understand one thing. When they express outside, whether it is love or hatred, I'm talking about both. Okay, what is expressed outside is what is within them. So you need to understand, if someone is like expressing hatred all over the place, that is the hatred which is inside that person. That person is impure with this hatred. So since there is what is filled inside is going to come out only. So if there is love inside, love only will come out. You can't think that there is love inside this person, but outside he's hating everyone. No, that's not possible. So what is inside is only going to come out. I can give you many examples of our Mahatmas also, our great saints also. There are many examples I can give of saints. Somewhere it was said in one of the description of a saint that one saint, what he used to do, anyone who used to go to him, the saint used to throw stone, pebble on that person. Why? Because he doesn't want to get disturbed. Not that he want to harm anyone. He doesn't want to get disturbed. He's so satisfied, so fulfilled, so contented that in the absorption, in his self-realization, in remaining single-pointed in self, being aware of the self, he doesn't want to interact with anyone. There is another saint's example which came, that there was a saint who used to go to a place, and whatever food is left out in the marriage and all, this saint used to collect and used to sit outside the shamiana or pandal which is there, and used to eat. And there were like all dogs all around him, and he used to feed all the dogs from that feed also. So saints have different ways of expression. you know the problem what happens is we consider their expression also along with us. We are far lower than them. We cannot even compare their expression. But remember, every saint you will see, even the saint who was throwing stone also, there are people who have reached out to him and gained supreme knowledge also, in spite of these things. I'm telling you. And he is given with love to everyone also. So but the thing is, they are in a different world altogether. They're in a different realm altogether. Let's not judge them with what they're doing. But the point I want to bring out here is yes, if there is inner purity, if there is inner culture, it will surely express in our action outside. And if there is inner impurity, and if in the inner, if we are uncultured, that also will express in our action outside. That is what we need to understand. And I told you, by God's grace, God has made me meet and come across so many people in the world. I cannot say that I've met all kind of personalities in this world, but I can surely thank God that he has made me meet many kinds of personalities in this world. Good, bad, ugly, all of them, by the way. So by God's grace, I've met many good people also. Why should I say the negative thing? I'm saying I've met many good people also. I still am in touch with many good people. Many good people. Yes, but I do seldom come across some few here bad and ugly people also. It's not that I don't, because it's a world. It's a mix of all kind of people. Why will you not come across us, this kind of a thing? But the thing is, if you are placed in God well, you will be easily able to manage the unwanted too. And God will bless you with lot of people in the category 1, and who are very good and excellent people also. So that is the grace of God. It also comes with grace and blessings of Bhagwan. So, and plus, of course, our karma also has to play some action there. But I'm not giving in the levi to our karma. I would say that for me, I can only say I do not know what karma I've done, but I'm saying only because of grace of blessings of Bhagwan, I've come across many good people, many excellent people in this world also. And I'm still in touch with many of them. So that's one thing. So Bhagwan says here, so inside and outside both, this person will be able to make a positive contribution to himself and make himself better and better every time. The only one thing we need to take care in this, that a seeker must be careful about this fact, that if you are a seeker and you started walking this path, don't give too much importance to your sankalpa, your resolves. The one thing which I've seen becomes a common problem with people to end up fighting is that, I want things to be done my way. It's okay if you want to do your things your way, but don't expect others to do things your way. That person is a different personality. So I keep on saying one thing: if you can carve out a personality that you be free and let others be free, I'm telling you, you will lead a very peaceful and happy life, by the way. Because remember, this world is a mixture of people. Everyone is coming with their own kind of personalities and all. They have their freedom to choose their own action. And these days, I'm telling you honestly, you cannot even tell your kids or force your kids to do something. What to talk about other people? Who are we? We are actually fools if we think that everyone should do action according to me. No, that's not correct at all. Yes, you can set certain boundaries, that if you do these things, I would want to be in touch with you. That is your choice. But that doesn't mean everyone should do action according to you. Let them be free. You be free. In trying to make people do like you will be more bound than them actually, and you will be end up suffocating them only at the end. So that is a very important thing we need to understand when we perform action in the world. I'm telling you honestly, this is true for when we lead a family life also. We can guide people, we can offer help to people, but we can't force them to do our way. There is this popular word which I also said in many of our podcasts before also: you can take a horse to a river, but you can't force it to drink water. That is its own choice. So that one thing we need to keep in mind. So Bhagwan says, if you are a seeker, you must be careful about this fact that don't give too much importance to your own resolve, your own way, your own desires, your own sankalpa. That's why Bhagavan said asaktaha is a very important word he used. Asaktasya vishishyate. Supreme Consciousness Bhagavan Krishna has used this word, but very carefully planted this in there. Asaktasya vishishyate. You have to understand and learn this art of being free from any kind of attachments. And I'm honestly telling you, trust me, attachment take lot of space in your mind, lot of space in your antakarna, and slowly, gradually, it will make you bound also. Trust me, I'm telling you. So that is why Bhagwan is again and again saying, be free. Asakta means be detached. And the one who is detached will always be having a clear and pure performance, and that person's performance will be far above excellence. That is why Bhagwan said, Asakta sa vishishyate. This person is going to be special. So, as far as we are able to, reduce the importance we give to our own sankalpa and resolve, well, when we are able to do that, we are able to we are able to reduce the importance we give to our sankalpa in life only if we have someone who we have a reverence and faith towards. If some shraddheya enters your life, the one who you are devoted towards, if you are devoted to someone, trust me, your own resolve will slowly gradually start taking a back seat. And in the last session I gave you one example of my Puja Guruji itself. I really he have very high reverence and regard for him, and also see how beautifully he said something about him so that we as seekers and students can learn. So, that is the beauty of a realized master, a realized guru, that he shares all those things from him which he has gone through so that his students don't have to work hard and go that route. See, that's the beauty of our guru. I have great deep reverence for my Guruji, and I still offer my humble prostrations unto his lotus feet. Because of him only and his grace and blessings only, I am able to do whatever little I am able to do now. So it's only his grace and blessings actually is that wherever I am, wherever little where I have reached, it's only because of him. So if we have someone towards whom we have great amount of devotion, we are able to develop devotion, or we have a presence of someone whom we are devoted to in in our life, then remember one thing: at that time, slowly, gradually, our sankalpa, our resolve will start to take a back seat. But you have to make that first bit effort to have someone towards whom you are devoted to be present in your life. I'm telling you very honestly, yes, there are a lot of negative things also around, no doubt about it. But still, I'm telling you, in this is creation, still there are lot of great saints available for whom we can develop reverence for us if we want to really grow in life. It's not that this place is devoid of that. Yes, since it is Kali Yuga, bad people are more, no doubt about it. The quantum and quantity of them may be more, but still, only few, even if there are a few handful of great saints also, they are enough to manage this creation. They are enough to create a balance in this creation. That's the beauty of this creation. But we have to go to them. They may be around us. They may be, we may be in touch with them in different facets. But we have to develop that devotion. No great saint is going to come to you that come to me, fall on my feet, and I'll give you everything. No, but no great saint is going to do that, because great saint has got nothing to do with any one of us. Actually speaking, they are already immersed in the self. They have already gained what is to be gained in this whole creation. So what more can be offered to them? Even if we offer our service to them, it's actually only like a particle of a sand we can offer him. What can we offer him for what a great saint gives us? I don't think we can. In this whole world, if we put together our life itself, it will be something which may not be able to fulfill the things, in priceless things he has given to us. So that is the beauty of a guru. but they may be around us, but we have to prepare ourselves to accept them, choose them in our life. That choice is ours. No guru is going to come to you and say that. And of course, without sankalpa, without resolve, we cannot lead a life. So we definitely need to, all of us need to have a resolve in life. But the difference for a devoted person is, it is immaterial if the resolve is mine or my guru's or my god's, towards whom I am devoted. Even if the resolve is of my guru, who, of course, without resolve we may not be able to set into action. There are many people I have seen where they say that, guru told me to go and do this business, I went into it and I'm a great success now, I owe everything to my guru. There are people like that who have told me. My guru used to have so many devotees who are connected with him even today, even though he's become brahmalin many years before, but still they are devoted to him at his lotus feet even today. And I'm really touched by the devotion of people, that they still have so much reverence for our guru, who, and even though they were like grahastha and others also, but their devotion is really par excellence. I think we as spiritual seekers also have a lot of things to learn from such devotees, by the way. So that is also the grace and blessings of our guru, that because of our guru we are able to meet such devotees also, so that we can do a reality check of us, within us, that where do we stand. Many a times some person may say that I'm a seeker, but in the reality check, some other grahastha may be better than that person. I'm telling you honestly, I've seen such people. So by God's grace is, because of living in an ashram environment for some time, and being in service of my guru, who I have been blessed by my guru to see many things in many different aspects. So anyway, so the point is, yes, as the resolve can be of somebody else. Yes, resolve is required to perform an action in life, but it is not necessarily the resolve has to be mine, and resolve can be of somebody else also. Supreme consciousness, as Bhagwan Krishna is also saying that, at keeping your own resolve is not correct, not right, it not good for a spiritual seeker. It's very important. We should listen to Bhagwan's word in its correct import. Means what? From a uh, from a holistic perspective, in a nutshell, Bhagwan is telling us what? Bhagwan is telling that all of us, remember, this teaching is for all of us in a paroksh form. Paroksh form means, in a literal form, Bhagwan is telling all of us as that we all must work towards having someone who we are devoted towards in our life. We should all become a devotee of someone in our life. We can become a devotee of Bhagwan also, we can become a devotee of a great saint also. That's your choice. But remember one thing, we should all develop this thing of devotion towards someone, have someone devoted, be present in our life, in front of whom our own resolve can be left aside, and and that person may not have any forceful resolve being given to you, that you just follow this, drop everything. No great saint is going to say that. That person also, because he's a realized master, that person also may not have a own resolve also there. No, one more thing I want to tell you, since I'm on this topic. See, the thing is, by God's grace, is with Srimad Bhagavat and all, I can tell you so many stories related to that, but I'm just stopping myself to remain in the topic, because we have to continue and complete the verse we are explaining also. One small example I'll give you, and then I'll move on. One from this particular topic is, there is one description of a Maharshi which comes in Srimad Bhagavat a lot, is Maharshi Durvasa. So, the moment we hear the name Maharshi Durvasa, the first thought which comes into our mind is like an angry young rishi or angry young man, so to say. He goes and he gives a curse to anyone who comes on his way. But we fail to see the reality of that, because he is a Maharshi. Maharshi means he's a Maharshi. Maharshi means he's so much devoted and realized his self so much, so to say. he's established in Bhagwan. So through him, if someone gets cursed, actually it is not the personal resolve of that rishi. It is actually of Bhagwan only, giving some kind of a blessing upon his devotees. So you may ask this question: how will a curse become a blessing? So the best example I can give you is, again, see, when I come for an example, I always come back and fall back to Arjun, because Arjun has showed almost every, he fits into that bracket of every example he can be used. Good examples I'm talking about. You see, when Arjun went to Swargaloka, he got that curse from Urvashi to become a eunuch. So Arjun accepted that thing. Then he looked up at Bhagwan. Bhagwan, I've got this curse now. What to do now? Bhagwan said, go back to her. And she said, I cannot take back the curse, but I can reduce the time you will be able, you will need to go through that. So the period has been shortened to 1 year. Bhagwan said, Arjun, don't worry, you will get opportunity to use it. And that exactly what Arjun used during his Agyatvas to become Brahmanala. Because of becoming Brahmanala, Kauravas could not search him, by the way. See, how a curse can also be used, we should know. So for Arjun, even that curse is also a blessing, isn't it? Otherwise, Arjun's persona, it can never be hidden. What Pandavas cannot go Agyatvas. How can Pandavas not be known? Wherever they are, their valor, their capability is so strong that the skies will speak about them. So they cannot go in hiding. In Agyatvas, you have to remain anonymous. You have to remain hidden, that they cannot search. Now remember, Arjun's personality is so good, so great, he cannot remain hidden. Because of that curse, he could cover up his personality in such a way that he could remain hidden during the Agyatvas. See, so how, when we speak about Durvasa, we can, pinpoint him, saying that, left, right, and center is giving curse. But you have to see the subtle aspect of it to understand. Our Puranas are giving stories for us to understand the creation correctly. So curse is also, it's not like that. It's sometimes God's grace. So I can give you so many stories about that, but I'm not saying that because I have to move on with this particular thing. So remember, a great saint will never have his own resolve. So when we see here, the reason I picked up that example of Maharshi Durvasa ji was, Maharshi Durvasa ji never had a personal grudge to give a curse to anyone. No, he was only fulfilling God's wish. There was some bigger picture, bigger story to be done actually. So the moment we have a devotion towards someone and enter in our life, or placed firmly in our life, and slowly, gradually, when we grow and develop in devotion towards that, when we grow, remember one thing, in that, slowly, gradually, we are developing our inner equipment for a bigger role to play, for a bigger benefit to be reaped. So that is one thing we need to understand. Now, if we have this devotion towards Bhagwan, now see, I'm bringing it back to Bhagwan. I gave you from great saints. Now I'm bringing it back to Bhagwan. Remember, that is the concept of Ishta Devata in Sanatan Dharma. We all must have one. Whether now you are Navratras, if you are a devotee of Bhagwan Krishna, you can and worship, during these Navratras, when you keep fast, you can keep it for Bhagwan Krishna also. Don't worry about that. See, remember one thing, our God in different forms are for our own benefit, so that we can understand the oneness of Supreme Consciousness. They are not in different forms to divide us in terms of devotion. No, it's not. Yes, there may be different schools depending upon different deities, like, there is Shaiva Siddhant, there is Vishnu, Pad, and all those things. Devi, what we call that, Devi Pad also. All those things are there. But Shakteya, we call it, that path, or Shaiv, we call it Shaivites, Shaktes, Vaishnavites, they are all different, and Ishtadevtas they have. But that is not to divide and fight amongst each other. That is to actually understand God and have the concept of Ishtadevata in our life, so that even when different festivals come, we can worship that Ishtadevata of us and reach the Supreme. Ultimate objective of all this worship is to make us reach the supreme. So now, if we have that devotion for Bhagwan, that is why I keep telling in the WhatsApp group we have, that always constantly work towards growing and developing in love and devotion for God. Full stop. That is a common statement which I keep giving people. Three things I keep telling them: definitely grow and develop in love and devotion for God. That's one thing. Second thing is that definitely have a focus on earning punya in your life. The third thing which I keep on telling them is that do something spiritual in your life, whether it is, listening to spiritual talks, because that is what is going to constantly give you good feed inside you. Following a guru to for his teachings or anything like that, you can do these three things. We must do. That's very important for each and every Sanatani to do. So if we have if we have developed devotion for God, we will understand, and if we develop and grow that devotion in us, we will slowly understand that God which we are worshipping outside is no one but my own antaryami, is my own core self. He's sitting inside me, watching me, helping me all the time. It is said in Vedas, Antasthita Shasta Jananam. Antasthita. Sitting, residing inside all of us, he is guiding us. Janana means all the people. Remember, all the people means all the people doesn't seem to be guided. Many are misguided here. But misguidance is not because of God there. He guides, he is present there to guide each one of us. He is present there to, who with his compassion, to give grace and blessings to each one of us. But remember, the only condition is that we have to turn towards him. He will not force anything on us. He will not force his guidance also on us. There are some people who are like consultants or anything like that. And you can't, if you are a consultant, doesn't mean that you'll walk into any business and start guiding them. They are not even come to you. Guidance and advice is only for those who seek them. Seeking an advice and guidance is the first step towards guidance and advice. You cannot think that just because you are capable of giving guidance and advice, you will stop at any bus stand and any roadside and start guiding and advising people. They may come charge back on you, by the way. That way I'll say. So apparently, Antasthita Shasta Janana, and Goswami Tulsidas ji also, seeing this, when he worships, he addresses Bhagwan in the Ramcharitmanas Sundarkand Shlok number 2, that Satyam Vadami Bhagavan Akhilantaratma. Bhagwan, it is true, and I say this truth, that you are no one but you are the Antaratma. Antaratma means inner self of each one of us. Akhilantaratma. And Goswami Tulsidas ji, while worshipping Bhagwan, and while offering his devotion to Bhagwan, while offering his hymn to Bhagwan, he is experiencing Bhagwan in that form and saying this prayer. Satyam Vadami Bhavan Akhilantaratma. In Ramcharitmanas itself, Balkand Shlok number 2, he says, Yabhyam Vinana Pashyanti Siddha Swantastham. Yabhyam Vinana Pashyanti Siddha Swantastham. For Bhagwan Shiva, he said there, without your grace and blessings, even a Siddha Purush, even an established saint also cannot see the core of himself, of Bhagwan sitting inside him. Swantas, Siddha Swantastham Ishwaram. The core self seated inside us, a Siddha, an established saint also cannot see without your grace and blessings. Now remember, here in this, it's not that I am your representative, it's not that I am your part. Here this prayer is that Bhagwan, you yourself are sitting in full inside me. That is how the prayer is. And we should offer so much worship to who that God who is seated within all of us, that we are able to understand what God wants us to do. We are able to understand His resolve, and we are able, we start understanding, we start listening to the inner voice, we start at hearing the inner voice. The problem is, inner voice is there in all of us, but we are so externally focused that hardly we, distantly also, we do not hear the inner voice. Otherwise, God is sitting there and constantly having that inner voice for us. He keeps looking at us, what we are doing, you know does this child needs my advice, does this child really need something on his path. And God helps those who are able to develop that love and devotion for God. And we should develop so much in the love and devotion for God that slowly, gradually, our resolve just drops away from our life forever. That is how much we should grow in love and devotion for God. This is one way of developing in devotion within ourselves. But if we are not able to develop that, the other way we have is, or else we could have devotion towards a living saint, devotion towards a saint. And saint in Hindi we call it Sant. My Puja Guruji used to say one word which keeps echoing in my ears, that Anish, remember one thing, the only endeavor in life should be Sant Bano. Sant Bano means become a good hearted saint. That is more important than anything else. I do not know how the word saint also and the Sant also sounds like similar, but never mind. So the point is or else we should develop up our devotion towards a saint, a sant, because in front of a saint, it is natural that we may bend in front of a saint. And while bending in or prostrating unto a saint also, we don't find any difficulty, we don't experience any difficulty. But if we have not established our relationship, our devotion towards that, then it is a different aspect at also. But till the time we have not developed the relationship with our what do you call, don't want to use the word object of devotion, our idol of devotion, whether it is God or saint, till that time we will not be able to do karma yoga at all. For karma yoga, having devotion in life is of paramount importance, and it is the basic thing, which is, it's a basic necessity also. And if we have an established relationship with God, and we consider God as our own devotional, what do you call that person, we have a personal feeling with God, or the one whom we are devoted towards, uh, then we will not be hesitant in speaking in front of uh, that that person towards whom we have devotion, whether it is God or a saint. And it's not that we will not be hesitant to say anything, that's one thing. Also, we will not have any difficulty in listening to the advice given by that, by the God or the saint. And remember one thing, in this world there are many good people, and many good people in this world, and in them falls our parents also. But the thing is all of them does not have the power on us to guide us and advise us. That is the biggest thing we need to remember. Why? Because we may not have established that level of devotion towards them. Some people are so much devoted to their mother and father that their mother and father are like literally like deities for them. I've seen that. And they are so much, and definitely they reap a lot of benefits with that. Benefits, not I'm talking about financial thing, I'm talking about here. When I say benefits, they go a long way in your life. Remember one thing, the thing is, the core of it is that we must have a flow of devotion towards whether it is God or a saint. And also we must have established a closeness to that. When I say closeness, remember one thing, please, whenever this word closeness is used, don't don't think it's about physical closeness we are talking about. The closeness is always at the level of mind, that I feel that I can call that person, I feel I can reach out, I feel I will be heard, I feel that I will get time from him in spite of his busy schedule. I feel that my questions doesn't go unanswered. I feel that when he answers, is not answering from a personal agenda. He cares for me. That's why he answers. That is the kind of closeness we need to establish with our guru. In the same example, I can say there are many good people in this world, but all of them does not have the same kind of power on us like our mother and father. So that's the example I was wanting to give. If that mother and father, the kind of right they have on us, the kind of influence they have on us, even though there are many good people existing in this world, they may not have that. That's why you know devotion towards a saint and devotion and association with a guru, they are two different things altogether, and there is a lot of difference in them. Why? Because when it comes to guru, and if someone has guru means what? Guru is not at a standalone on kind of a person. Guru is with respect to a student, no? So, when it comes to guru, for a student, taking orders from a guru is very easy, and a student also experience happiness in taking orders from a guru. And for a guru also, giving instructions to a student becomes fairly easy. It becomes a little natural. But when it comes to saint, because we do not have we have not acceptance like that, that it doesn't work out in the same way. This in the second and way of things, in front of our guru, in continuation to that, what I'm saying is, in front of our guru, we must exercise this thing that our resolve should start dropping off slowly, gradually, and gurus whose resolve should start getting fulfilled. And we should slowly develop in such a way that when we give up our resolve for the resolve of the guru, we should not experience any kind of sadness at all. And if we are able to reach such a stage, then it is established that we are really devoted to that particular person. Now remember, I told you in the last session also, sometimes people go to a guru and they want that guru should say yes for everything what I'm asking. That is not a guru bhakti there. You are actually forcing a guru to say yes to your every nonsense things also. I'm sorry, that's not correct at all. The best is, even if guru says something which is not as per my liking, but I end up doing that, that means you have established yourself in your guru. I'm telling you honestly, because coming in association with my guru, I've seen many such examples. When I initially came in front of my guru, came in contact of my guru, sometimes when guru used to say no, I also used to think, I don't know, maybe guruji may not have understood what I wanting to say. Should I explain him again? Because there is a disturbance in our mind that why did guru say no? Because we at the back of it, the thinking is what, I have never said anything wrong, and why will guru think that I say something wrong? Then why guru has to say no to some things? But we are not understanding everything is a test for us. In the movie called On a Quest, about Puja Gurudev's life, which is an autobiography of Puja Gurudev. There was a time when Puja Gurudev was studying, Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmayananji was studying under Swami Tapovanji, Paramaguru Swami Tapovanji. And Puja Gurudev used to wash the clothes of Paramaguru. So once he was drying the clothes, and suddenly Paramaguru came, and the kurta was actually torn from near the shoulder area. So Paramaguru looked at Puja Gurudev and said, Chinmay, you tore my cloth. And Gurudev knew that the cloth was torn before only. And Gurudev used to love truth, was very attached to truth. So he told his Paramaguru that, no, Gurudev, I didn't tear it. Chinmay, you are lying. You only tore it. You liar. And in the next day class, he was explaining a topic and he said, liars cannot understand this thing at all. So that was his straight point on Puja Gurudev. Puja Gurudev became very disturbed. And he was sitting there, and suddenly his Guru Bhai, who has been under Swami Tapovanji Maharaj for many years, he came and said, Chinmay, what happened? So he said, this is what, I did not tear the kurta, but I do not know why my Guru said so many things to me. He knew that it was torn, but he has to say this to me. He was pinpointing on me, and so he said. So he said, remember one thing, in Guru has no objective in putting you down at all. Guru has only one objective, that spiritually you should grow. And if you have any weakness, Guru will do whatever to weed that out completely. And that is the way a Guru functions. So Chinmay, maybe he knew that you are too much attached to the truth that way in the physical form, the truth in the natural parlance. So maybe he wants you to develop a different kind of a thing. That day Gurudev understood, and he said he never had to look back. So, and he served Swami Tapovanji till he attained Mahasamadhi. So that is the level of devotion it was there. So remember one thing, Guru has no personal agenda with you. And we cannot give anything to our Guru anyway. I just said a few minutes before also, what is that we can offer our Guru? He's already reached that place. But yes, we can definitely develop and grow if we do the right way of serving our Guru. So whatever we do, and I'm going to come in the next verse when Bhagavan is going to explain Yajna Bhav. So at that time I will explain about that portion also. I'm not touching it now. So remember one thing, that person and will become a siddha, will become established in his devotion, and if he doesn't feel sorrowful or disturbed about whatever a guru tells you, who in terms of not even going according to your own resolve, if you have no sorrow giving it up, that means in reality you have started becoming devoted. Till then you have a long way to go in devotion. And when we reach such a stage, then only we are able to drop our sankalpa, our resolves in front of him. And even if we have to drop our resolves in front of a guru, we will never feel suffocated if we have reached that stage. And in family also, I'm giving you another example from a family perspective. There are many, in older times there used to be joint family. In When we have a family, bigger family, there will be somebody, some brother or some sister who will be a rebellious kind of a person, will always be controlling over you. So when such a person, when our brother or sister, because of their rebellious kind of a nature, because of their strong kind of a nature, they put pressure on us to follow their things, then remember one thing, since we do not have a devotion towards them, we slowly gradually start feeling suffocated under them. But the other side to look at is that even if we have somebody in our family like that, slowly gradually our own resolves start getting vanished, start disappearing in our life. And in front of such a person, and we may end up giving up our resolve. But remember, there it is not karma yoga. The karma yoga is not going to happen even if we give up our own resolve for someone who is more powerful in our family also. We may end up giving our resolves, but definitely that's not going to become karma yoga. And in karma yoga, the most important thing which should happen is that even if we give up our resolve, it should give us happiness. It should not give us sorrow. It should not suffocate us at all. But remember, only when we have developed in devotion towards someone, only then we will be able to start tasting this thing in totality. And because we will start tasting a different kind of happiness by giving up our resolve for one whom we are devoted to, because we start at experiencing some taste and some happiness, there will be no suffocation at all. And in such a point, we will be able to develop and carve out such a life that having our own resolve, we will start feeling bad about it. It will start becoming, our resolves will start becoming a burden for us. We will start feeling bad and burdened with our own desires, and we would want to give up our desires as fast as possible. you know in case in front of us there is, as I mentioned in the last session also, in Goswami Tulsidas Ji's words, in case we have someone in front of us whom we can call it Su Sahib, means a good master, and we may we accept that person as a good master, giving up our own resolve in front of him also, we may not feel bad at all. And slowly, gradually, while doing action also, we will be able to develop up, oh we will be able to experience a kind of happiness of remaining free of our own resolves. That is very important. Even and at the level of samadhi, now I'm talking about samadhi here. In samadhi, what do you mean by samadhi? I should explain the term first. Samadhi is of many different kinds, but man of realization, when he sits completely dissolved in the self, giving up his own personality, that is called samadhi. Okay, that is the level state of samadhi I'm talking about here. Now remember one thing, in samadhi also there is nisankalpata. Nisankalpata means we have completely free of all kind of resolves. We have no resolves at all. We are free from all kind of resolves. And since there is nisankalpata there, we are free from all kind of resolves there. That is why there is a lot of praise being sung about samadhi avastha. And here, what we are trying to do, automatically, because of our devotion towards someone higher, we slowly, gradually starts to give up our resolves and starts to experience a state of free from resolves, and will also start to taste the ananda, taste the happiness of being free from resolves, and we will be able to understand karma yoga in its correct aspect, in its absolute real aspect. And once we are able to reach this kind of level where we are able to taste the what you call that happiness coming out of being free from resolves, remember, from that point in time onwards, having a resolve in your mind will become a burden for you. Pujya Swami Sharananandji Maharaj used to say, our sankalpa will become like a dirt which has entered our eyes, a dirt particle entering our eyes. The moment dirt particle enters our eyes, we are in great, what do you call that? We are in a great disturbance, disturbed state. Why? Because all our organs have rushed to the eyes to take out that dirt particle which has entered our eye and creating in disturbance in my vision. It's actually creating, what do you call that, irritation in my eyes, so to say. That irritation creating dust particle, all organs of our body rush towards that to actually take it out. And taking it out is also not easy. Sometimes it hurts also while taking it out. You know, the point I want to make out from this, that the importance we have given to our own resolve should slowly, gradually get dispensed off in our life. We should be able to drop that in our life. We should be able to drop the desire of having my resolve fulfilled. And for that, what we want, what we should do is that we must have somebody who we are devoted to in our life. And when we have someone who we are devoted to in our life, then what, giving up resolve and fulfilling his resolve or her resolve becomes our own life. That is why it is said, Acharyavan Purusho Veda. You remember in the beginning of the podcast of chapter 2, I gave you one verse which Ved Bhagwan says. I'm bringing it out here again. Kasmai Devaya Havisha Vidhema. You remember that? Kasmai Devaya Havisha Vidhema. Who are you doing the task you are doing in now? Are you doing it for your own selfish interest? Are you doing it for a bigger objective than you, which is for your family? Are you doing it for a much bigger objective than you and your family, which is for your locality, state, country, world? Who are you doing it for? This is where the karma yoga gets attached. Here you are doing it for who? you are doing it for the one who you are devoted towards. It could be God, it could be a saint, or it could be a guru in your life. So here says Acharyavan Purusho Veda. You know, the one and who has got this devotion is the one who will be able to reach that aspect, so to say. The one who has understood, who has experienced, who has tasted at the happiness coming out of being free from resolves, uh, that one does not want to protect or keep his or her own resolves at all these principles, without even knowing, they starts to come into the life of such a person. That's one thing we need to remember about being in, keeping resolve and not keeping resolves. Another thing which Bhagwan is pointing it out in this verse number 8, is when he says Sharira Yatra Pichate Na Prasiddhyed Akarmanaha. There, the point which Bhagwan is bringing to table for us, there the teaching which Bhagwan is, Supreme Consciousness Bhagwan Krishna is bringing in table for us, presenting in front of us, is what? As compared to a life of laziness, as compared to a life of procrastination, a life filled with action is far higher and better. So Bhagwan does not, or what do you call that? Does not recommend a life of laziness and procrastination at all. Bhagwan don't like it at all. A person can make his journey through this body popular depending upon on his or her action. There are so many people who are remembered after their death also. I'm not talking about saints here. I'm talking about so many people, so many freedom fighters, so many great people who have come here and gone. Why? Because as compared to laziness and procrastination, they have chosen a path of action throughout their life, and they have walked into death in their while acting in the world. And you will see, you can see so many people coming for their end yatra and all those things, just because. And why and how? Because in during their journey of life, they have always is focused towards action which not only help them, action which help a bigger public, bigger society, and bigger creed of people. So you can give many examples. I'm not taking name. Why? Because if I take some names, it will sound like biased. There are so many of them, you can think of them. So the thing is, one can make their journey of life popular depending upon action. Now the what do you call that, the habit of this body, or the nature of this body, is what? That it needs exercise, vyayam. It need, if you work hard using this body, it is surely can give you happiness. I'm telling you at the body level also. Now that is the nature of this body, that this body needs. That is why the logo of AIMS, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, what? Or the logo says, no, Shariram Kevalam Khalu Dharma Sadhanam. This body is actually one of the instruments for you to do dharma. But for that, you have to maintain your body first, no? You maintain the body for not for the sake of the body. You maintain the body so that this instrument is available to you when you need it for your own action, and you can gain higher using this body. This body doesn't need to be nurtured for the sake of body. It is not like that at all. So Shariram Kevalam Khalu Dharma Sadhanam. That is one. It's a slogan from the Vedas only, which AIMS have taken. It's not a AIMS generated thing. So it is the logo. It's the slogan from the Vedas, which AIMS has adopted when it incorporated Shariram Kevalam Khalu Dharma Sadhanam. The moment you hear Sanskrit, you can understand it's come from Sanatan Dharma Vedas only, by the way. Anyway, so coming to that point, and those people now I'm giving you contrary example to this one, those people who are addicted to luxury, who stay in, a big luxurious setup and does not even pick up a glass of water themselves, their body becomes such. Bhagavan says here what? Na prasiddhyet. See, I'm telling you honestly one thing, huh? You may have resources to have so many, servants in your life, but you may be supporting their life. I'm not saying that at all. But remember one thing: even if you have servants, you should also learn the art of doing whatever things you can do it yourself only. I'm telling you honestly, huh? This is very important for us. Why? Because don't let your body fall into laziness and procrastination culture at all. Now, those people who are so much addicted to luxury and does not do anything for them at all, everything is done by their servants. For them, Bhagavan says, na prasiddhyet. Remember one thing, karma yoga is a penance, is a tapasya. And the moment you do karma yoga, you are automatically doing a tapasya. You're automatically doing a penance. The moment you hear this word tapasya or penance, in the olden days, you must have heard many stories in the, our Puranas and all, that they left home and went to the forest to do penance. See, that is a different kind of a penance. Now, penance does not only mean that you have to leave home and go to the forest and do. Staying at home also you can do. Many penance you can do that. Like I'm giving you an example. Huh? These days, when I talk about the Tritiya ashram, Vanaprastha in technical term may mean that leaving the home and going to Vana means forest. Now these days, if you go to forest, somebody may arrest you, man. The forest is all reserved areas. You can't go and sit there on your own. They may doubt you that who you are. So, what do you mean by Vanaprastha? Vanaprastha actually, literal meaning is going to Vana, because in olden days that is what used to happen, because there was huge amount of free land available that they can go anywhere and sit there and immerse themselves into self. But nowadays that's not possible. So how will Vanaprastha translate today? We should know how it translates today also. Na? Vanaprastha means when your children grow up to an age that they start becoming responsible on their own, they stand up on their feet and they can manage themselves all along themselves, and you feel that you have done enough in life for yourself and for your kids, at that time slowly gradually start handing over the responsibilities of home to them while you stay there, and slowly gradually retract from these social responsibilities and let them take over your social responsibilities. You don't have to go for every, what do you call that, these days I do not know what to say. I can see now it's such a state that I can see people of age of 80, 85, 90 also dancing and all in birthday functions and marriage processions and all. I'm sorry, where is the Vanaprastha? And they are doing what? If how you are spending your old age, ask them. We are not that is the word they say. We are not investing our old age, we are spending our old age. So don't spend your old age, invest your old age. Your age is to be invested in earning something higher. You've already done what need to be done and for everyone around and all. Now focus on you. But will that come overnight to you? No. I have seen people at the age of 75 and 80 sitting down and playing cards and all. I don't know what they're doing. Is that what you learned? Is that your Vanaprastha? Is that how you are investing your old age? You have got a buffer of old age. Many don't even get that. Are you using that buffer of old age well? It's a buffer time given to you. What you could not do in your or earlier years because of umpteen reasons which I can list down, now at least turn towards it. Start knowing God, start feeling Him. At least if you could not do that in your early years, now is the time. Go to temples, go for religious functions, go for satsang, go for spiritual discourses. That's the right way to invest your age. So that is the point what Bhagwan is trying to make here. When the moment you do karma yoga, why it is a tapasya? Because the resolve is of the one towards whom you have devotion and faith, and we have no discount in that at all. There is no discount given to us, right? We just fulfill what is the resolve of the one who we are devoted to, and while fulfilling those resolves of the one who are devoted to, our body is working hard, and because of it's karma yoga, the body does not feel that it is doing a penance, and automatically penance is happening, but you are doing what? You are doing for the happiness of the one who you are devoted to. This is a very, very, what do you call that, strange and secretive path, but an awesome path. It is a really surprise, or rather than strange, I should use the word surprise. It is a surprise secret which is available to all of us, but it comes into practice only when we can, and adapt that in our life only when we can, and walk that in our life only when, and we have someone who we have faith and devotion towards in our life. And here Supreme Consciousness Bhagavan Krishna says, Niyatam Kuru Karmatvam. Now, I will come to explain this line, why I wanted to explain all these points now to come to that point, why I read Bhagwan Shankaracharyaji's Bhashya today and not in the last session, because there is a brilliant point, as usual, Bhagwan Shankaracharyaji brings out while explaining this Niyatam Kuru Karmatvam. Bhagwan Krishna, Bhagwan Shankaracharya, sorry, Bhashyakar, Bhagwan Shankaracharya, he, while explaining this word Niyatam, he gives up this meaning in Niyatam as Nityam, our daily duties. All of us, whatever karma we are employed into on a daily basis, on a day-to-day basis, like example, for a farmer, his daily and day-to-day duty is what? Protecting the farm and cultivating the farm, right? Taking care of the farm and ensuring that a good output is generated using that farm. Now, in this Niyatam, why I brought to this point, just step back for a moment and think, if we all, I'm using the word, we have 4 varnashrams: Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyasa. We have 4 varnashrams. Now, think that whatever varnashram we are placed on currently, some may be in Brahmacharya, the listeners, some may be in Grahastha, some may be in Vanaprastha, Sannyasa maybe, may not be, but I'm not saying that, because sannyasi may have his own path to do, but at least in the first 3 varnashrams, all the listeners, wherever we are placed, if we think of the duties of that varnashram alone and end up focusing on them, remember, by just thinking of those duties alone and focusing of those alone, there are many unwanted things which will get dropped off. Trust me, I'm telling you, you must experience it yourself. Remember, but the point is, we must focus on the duty of where we are placed currently according to the varnashram. If we are able to do that, many unwanted and many not required things will get dropped off automatically. That's very important for us to know. Whatever our actions are expected from a person, from whichever person I'm talking about here, whatever actions are expected from each one of us, Bhagwan Bhashyakar calls that as Nitya Karma. Ramanujacharya ji, according to Ramanujacharya ji, Niyatam means what? Vyaptam. Vyaptam means that which is pervaded in our duties, in ourselves. Means what? Pervaded means what? What Ramanujacharya's pervaded means here is, from the past life, whatever nature we have cultivated, whatever personality we have cultivated, whatever is pervaded in them becomes our duty. That is according to Ramanujacharya. We think, we talk, we walk, we act, all of these things are according to that thing which is pervaded in our personality, in our nature, in our habit. Because of this thing being attached to us all the time, that is why he calls it as Nitya. And you know, because it is attached to us all the time, and he's calling us Nitya, doing such things we should not have the feeling of too much hard work, or we may not feel too much complicated, or non-natural about doing it. We should not feel uncomfortable about doing that, because it is attached with us all the time. Okay, this meaning is also correct to an extent, but there are many good qualities which are there, which today it may find it difficult for us to cultivate, but we must work towards them to cultivate them also, because they are good. And there are many such bad qualities is which we may or may not have, which we may have also to an extent. Those are ones we must give up also. And while giving up today, it may feel difficult for us, but yes, on a longer run, giving up, that is important for us. That's why easy and difficult cannot be set as a criteria for understanding this niyatam or nitya karma. Bhagwan Bhashyakar in the second meaning says here, continuing with that meaning, Bhagwan Bhashyakar says, Yo yasmin karmani adhikritaha. The person in the first earth, two things Bhagwan Bhashyakar said. One thing I've explained you, when he said niyatam here, he gave the meaning on whatever according to our, whatever is nityam for us. Nityam is the meaning he gave. And for nityam, the meaning Bhagwan Shankaracharya is explaining is, Yo yasmin karmani adhikritaha. Each one of us, whatever actions are destined onto us, or whatever actions we are set out for according to our varnashram, whatever actions are assigned to us according to our varnashram, they are being called as, the first thing as yo yasmin karmani adhikrita. That Bhagwan Shankaracharya is calling as nityam. The second is a brilliant and meaning Bhagwan Shankaracharya gives, is another one, falaya cha ashrutam tad niyatam. This is a very important thing for us to understand, but remember, this meaning is not easy to grasp. Okay, remember that. That is why I'm explaining you with utmost care here. I'm taking extra time today in this session to explain this to you with utmost care, because I don't want to leave this topic in between and let you guess over it. So Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji says, falaya cha ashrutam tad niyatam, means what? These actions may not have a different fruit, so to say, which have been spoken about. Means nishkam karma. These may not have a different fruit to give you at all, but it's your duty to do it. Now just give you an example. Okay, the fight which Arjun is into, there is no separate award for Arjun in that fight, right? He's doing it for all, totally. Yes, of course, when they win, they will be able to enjoy the kingdom, but it's not a new kingdom, so to say. It's the kingdom which was actually by right theirs only. They are going to enjoy their own kingdom, so there is no new fruit which is going to come to them, right? So another example I can give you is that at Putreshti Yajna used to be there before. That Putreshti Yajna has got this desire of gaining a progeny. That Yajna was done for gaining a progeny. So there is a defined result for that, right? That's why, since there is a defined result for that, that action of Putreshti Yajna cannot fall under the category of Niyatam Karma or Nityam Karma, so to say. Remember that, and that is what I'm trying to explain here. Niyat Karma, the way it is explained here, is that in which there is no defined separate fruit, so to say. Okay, that's how you need to understand. And falayacha ashrutam tad niyatam. that which is not done keeping a different fruit in mind, that which is not done keeping a special fruit in mind, a special result in mind. And Putreshti Yajna is one example which I'm giving you. Since there is a special fruit attached to it, special desire which is attached to it, that's why it will not fall under the category of niyatam karma at all. Those things which are our desires, our resolves, and are attached to our own desires, we cannot call them as part of niyatam karma at all. We cannot call them as niyatam karma. Niyatam karma is that which is expected out of us, but we may not get a separate fruit of that. Like I'm giving you an example. Somebody is employed as an employee in a place. He have got set of duties to be done. Now, yes, he may be given salary for doing those duties, but he fulfilled the duty, so there is not going to be special award for that duty at all. He'll just get his salary if he continues to do that duty. So in the same way, these are the duties which are expected out of us. It may not give us any special fruit, so to say. Okay, because we are sitting at that position, it is something which is expected out of us that we will definitely end up doing this. And if we do not end up doing that karma, then that person will be said as fallen from his level of duty. The post we are on today, the age bracket we fall in today, expects from us or demands from us that we all must do certain amount of duties, so to say. Certain amount of work is expected out of all of us. Now, karma or action is of 6 kinds. That also you should know now. First is nitya, which is daily, so to say. Naimittika, occasional. Kamya, that which arises out of our desires. Upasana means that the sadhana, the prayer, and those things we do as part of devotion. Nishiddha, those things which are prohibited for us. And prayaschitta, those actions we do as a punishment, or as if we end up doing something wrong, the prayaschitta, the punishment we end up taking up on our own, is called prayaschitta karma. So these are 6 kind of action. Nitya, daily or day-to-day duties. Naimittika, occasional duties. Kamya, the duties which come out of our desire, or the actions which come out of our desire. Upasana, of course, upasana is, now remember, upasana is also a karma, it is also a duty. We all must do upasana every now and then, by the way. So upasana, prayer, is also a duty of all of us. And then nishiddha, we should know what is prohibited for us according to our post, age, the stature, the strata we are in the family, and all those things we should know. So these are the 6 kind of, and prayaschitta, of course, that those things we end up doing if we end up doing something wrong. Now, niyata karma, out of these 6, what will fall under niyata karma? What will fall under our daily duties? Now, you should listen to that. The 4 things which fall under our daily duties are, or niyata karma, that we all should do is nitya, that which is our daily day-to-day duty. Naimittika, occasional duty, like if we want that people should come for our function, we should go for theirs also. Somebody expires in someone's close family, we should go and visit them. Those kind of, which arise out of occasion. Prayaschitta, if we end up doing something wrong or something mistake happens with us, we should do a penance for that. We should do a prayaschitta karma for that. And the 4th one is upasana. Upasana means the prayer and our daily spiritual things. These we must do day to day. Okay, these 4 things can fall under the category of niyata karma. Puja Gurudev used to say, daily duty and obligatory duty both together are called niyata karma. Daily duty and obligatory duty. Bhagavan is saying here what? Niyatam kuru karmatvam. These 4 things which I mentioned above as the karma, which are our niyata karma, we all must do day in and day out. In these four, remember, we must ensure that we do not end up encouraging laziness or procrastination. We must not do. That is why, for that, Bhagavan is saying, Karma jayo hi akarmana. In this context, Bhagavan is saying, for such things, doing action is far higher and better than being or remaining inactive or being into inaction, procrastination, or laziness. After that, Arjun had one question and towards Bhagwan, that Bhagwan, I have heard in my own satsang. I'm just coining the question on my own. My guru has coined the question on his own. He used to say that, which I'm telling you now. Must have said that to Bhagwan, in his conversation, that Bhagwan, in my satsang and in the spiritual discourses, I've heard that karma, every action and binds. Every action is of the form of bondage. And yes, because of action only, because of my own karma only, I got this body. And because of the past karma only, I'm associated with this body, and I'll continue to be associated with this body as long as that karma is giving fruit here. And even if I want also, I cannot give up this body till the time that karma is there. Now, this option is not there in front of any of us at all. That's why, all of us experience karma as a form of bondage only. And if this is the means which you are telling us, if this is what you are explaining us, that we must all focus on action in the karma yoga way, I have also heard deham devalayam vidhi. This is also one of the one of the ways, one of the our philosophers have one of this way also, deham devalayam vidhi. This is also one of the ways of looking at it, that at a man is associated with his body, and will continue to be associated with this body till the time the punishment of our past karma is not completed. Deham devalayam vidhi. Every day, new situations, good, bad, ugly, are presented in front of us according to our past karma. And if a situation in front of us is bad or ugly, that is also forced upon me because it is coming from my past action. There is nothing I can do. And the literal way of understanding this, or the way I can see this, is, Bhagwan, that at bondage, the literal form of bondage is karma only. Karma means bondage, and you are telling me niyatam kuru karmatvam. I can understand that at the level of body, and this sharirik level, at the level of this body, for popularizing this journey of life, if we must adapt a life filled with action, good action, and we must work hard towards it. And a person who has worked hard, definitely, and for sure, the journey of him, of this life, he will be able to make that life very popular. Even when he is here also, he'll remain popular. He'll be able to gain popularity while he is here also, and while he leaves the body also. Yes, all that is there. And in case our past prarabdha is weak sometime, that then also, if we end up doing strong actions through our body, we create new prarabdha. Remember, action is of different intensity. If we do tivra action, tivra means very strong actions, those strong actions can add up into our prarabdha for this life itself also. Like, I'm just giving you an example. Someone studies hard for medicine, very hard for medicine, gains one of the best colleges seat also, becomes a doctor. Worked hard, no? Means what? Added a product to become a doctor in this life itself, right? Of course, clearing the exam may have other facets also, but I'm saying that tivra action, or the what do you call that, strong actions, can create prarabdha in this life here itself. And they can make, if I do strong actions, good ones, I can create a popular life sitting here itself. And these strong actions does not take time before they can start bearing fruit. This is also a truth we should all know. So Bhagwan, all that I've heard, this is the principle of karma I'm talking about. Prarabdha is a very big thing, but new prarabdha also can be made. I've heard this in satsang. Prarabdha is not something which is coming from the past life only. This is not right. That's not a correct way of thinking. Prarabdha can be, if I do tivra action, means I do strong actions, I can create new prarabdha also. But here we need to understand Arjun's question is not at these levels of physical action at all. Arjun's question is deep down from the level of spiritual context. Bhagwan, for example, I have got money, I've got wealth, I've got position, I've got a stature in the society, I've got all those things. But gaining all these things, prarabdha was never an obstacle at all. Why? Because I have made prarabdha in the past life also. Some of them I'm gaining from the past life, and some I have made in this life also. But my question is, even if I end up doing this, and we all know that action is of the form of bondage, and it will continue to keep us in this world of samsaran. Samsaran means keep on moving on and on from birth, womb to tomb in Gurudev's language. It's keep on moving that. It will keep on giving me in new kind of situations, good, bad, or ugly, depending upon the karma. It will keep on giving me new kinds of bodies, and if my achievement is going to go towards gaining new kind of bodies and new kind of life, if and I'm establishing my journey of life this way, so means niyatam kuru, you are telling me niyatam kuru, you are telling me to do that. Why? Bhagwan, if karma is of that kind of bondage, and it will keep on giving me new situations in life, it will keep on giving me new kind of bodies in life and continue to bind me to this life, why should I do niyatam kuru? On that spiritual question of Arjun, Bhagwan now starts a new topic from verse number 3.9 onwards. I will touch the verse today, give the literal meaning, or give you the some meaning of that verse. I may not be able to give you the full literal meaning here, but I'll give you some meaning of the verse before I complete the session today. But before I do that, I will read Puja Gurudev's commentary on verse number 3.8 before we move on. Puja Gurudev says, in our work, in our work a day world, we must understand this term bounden duty, niyatam karma, in the text to include all obligatory actions of an individual in his home, in his office, and in the society as a national being. Thus, not to perform diligently all our duties in the home and in the world outside would be inaction. We are warned that even a healthy bodily existence is not possible if we were to live live in complete inertia and inactivity. Inactivity brings about the destruction of the nation, of the society, and of the home, and often the very individual himself becomes victimized by his own idleness and suffers physical debilities and intellectual deterioration. It is also wrong to suppose that actions lead to bondage and that they should not therefore be performed. Why? For that, Bhagwan is explaining the next particular verse. Now I'll read the verse number 3.9. We will see the literal meaning of this verse to an extent and see some portion of it, and we'll take it up in the next session. Verse number 3.9. यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणोऽन्यत्र लोकोऽयं कर्म बन्धनः तदर्थं कर्म कौन्तेय मुक्तसङ्गः समाचर यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणोऽन्यत्र लोकोऽयं कर्म बन्धनः तदर्थं कर्म कौन्तेय मुक्तसङ्गः समाचर. Bhagwan, Supreme Consciousness Bhagwan Krishna says, the world is bound by actions other than those performed for the sake of sacrifice, yajna. Do thou therefore, O son of Kunti, perform action for that sake, for yajna alone, free from all attachment, so to say. So that is what is meant in the literal meaning. Now from here, Bhagwan is starting a topic of yajna bhav in action. Remember, that is the core of karma yoga. Yajna bhav in action. Action with the attitude of yajna, sacrifice. Yajnarthat anyatra karmanah ayam lokah karma bandhanah. Bhagwan is solving the spiritual thirst of Arjun, the spiritual question of Arjun, and we need to understand it in the correct meaning. If we understand the problem first, we should understand the problem. All the consultants and all those who do the project management work also, and resolve problems also, first thing which is told to them is understand the problem statement. If you understand the problem, then only you will understand and the meaning of this whole context and description, and then only you will be able to correct it, so to say. All of the actions bind. Karma bandhanam yasya sa lokah. This loka, this world, actually it means what? All of us are bound by our actions, all of us, and all actions bind us. But which actions bind us? Though only those actions bind us which are not done with the attitude of sacrifice or yajna. Only those actions bind. When I contribute, when I do something for my family, if I'm doing for the family, for and I look that are they recognizing me and all those things, there is no yajna bhava. I do it so that all of us benefit and they benefit for whom I'm doing, and I don't expect any result in return for that. That is yajna bhava. Yajna bhava is that. Remember, this podcast is also part of a jnana yajna. Through this podcast, we are doing yajna to make sure that the actual deep knowledge of Bhagavad Gita reach the masses. It's a yajna, and all those people who have contributed for this have actually participated in this yajna. There are people who are regular contributors also. There are people who are significant contributors also. There are people who are contributing here and there also. All of them have taken part in this yajna, and it has become one big yajna. And remember, if since you have taken part in this yajna, of course the yajna's benefit also will come to you in its own subtle form. That is what we need to understand. This much we will see today, rest we'll see in the next session. कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. श्रीमन्नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ओम शांति शांति शांति. हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. हरि ओम. ओम तत्सत. Once again, wish all the listeners a very, very happy Sharat Navratra to 2025. May Mother Durga, Mother Kali and Mother Saraswati bless you all with their choicest of blessings. Hari Om.